In this video, we will take a closer look at one of the major victimization theories in criminology, the lifestyle theory. Developed in 1978 by Michael Hendelang, Michael Gafferson, and James Garofalo. This theory helps us understand why some individuals face a higher risk of becoming victims of crime. Instead of focusing only on the criminals themselves, lifestyle theory examines how people's everyday routines, behaviors, and environments shape their exposure to danger. The idea is simple but powerful: where we go, who we meet, and the activities we join every day can influence our chances of encountering offenders. By understanding this connection, we can gain clearer insights into how victimization occurs and how it might be prevented. Lifestyle theory explains that a person's daily routine is a major factor in their risk of victimization. Our lifestyles are shaped by our roles, whether we are students, workers, parents, or night shift employees. These roles determine where we spend our time and who we interact with. For example, people who spend more time outside at night, or those who constantly meet strangers, naturally have more exposure to potential offenders. On the other hand, individuals who stay home more often or who are surrounded by trusted people tend to have lower risk. The theory also stresses the crime is not random. It happens when a victim's lifestyle overlaps with the routine activities of motivated offenders. This means that victimization is not just about personal decisions, it is also influenced by the environment, the community, and even economic conditions. When applied to real life situations, lifestyle theory helps explain why certain crimes happen more frequently to certain groups. For instance, theft often occurs in crowded places where belongings are easy to grab or left unattended. People who frequently go to bars or nightlife areas may be more vulnerable to fights, robbery, or harassment because these environments gather large groups, strangers, and sometimes intoxicated individuals. Students walking alone at night, workers traveling during late hours, and residents in high crime areas all face increased risk because their lifestyles place them in vulnerable situations. Young adults who experience more victimization simply because they go out more often and engage in more special activities. However, it is important to remember that not all aspects of a lifestyle are chosen. Many people are exposed to risks because of poverty, work requirements, or limited transportation. This shows that while lifestyle theory gives useful insights, it should never be used to blame victims. Lifestyle theory is valuable for showing how every routines can increase or reduce the risk of crime. It encourages people to be aware of their surroundings, avoid dangerous situations when possible, and make safer choices. But the theory also has limitations, especially the tendency to unintentionally blame victims for situations they are placed in. To avoid this, the theory must be paired with broader community and government efforts. Improving street lighting, strengthening police presence in high-risk areas, enhancing public transportation at night, and creating safer neighborhood spaces can reduce victimization for everyone. Schools and workplace should also teach basic safety awareness without suggesting that victims are at fault. A fair and balanced approach recognizes that while individuals can make safer decisions, society must also address poverty, unsafe environments, and lack of access to secure resources. By combining personal awareness with community support, we can create safer environments and reduce the opportunities for crime.